Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. And today we'll be looking at a very interesting topic, specialization in human resources, the benefits, and how to identify your core strengths. Specialization in human resources, the benefits, and how to identify your own core strengths as a professional. Our facilitator for tonight is no stranger to this prestigious platform. She is Omojokun Wakolo Okpeyemi, and she is currently the head of recruitment with Philips Outsourcing Limited. Our areas of competence, among others, include talent management, talent acquisition and development, learning curriculum design, people analytics, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Proud to join in Philips Outsourcing Limited, she has worked in a couple of places and functions. Previously, she was talent acquisition and development lead at Food Concept PLC. Also, she was a recruitment consultant at ICS Outsourcing and several other roles with other organizations. By way of education, she has her first degree in economics and education combined honors with University of Ado-Ekiti, and she has a master's in management, planning, and policy from University of Ibadan, the first and probably the best. In addition to this, she is an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM. She has several other things. For the purpose of time constraint, we will leave tonight, but you can check her online on LinkedIn to know a little more about our erudite facilitator and speaker. For the third time, please welcome Okpeyemi as she takes over control. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Good evening. My name has been said a number of times, Okpeyemi, and then it's another day, a date with our destinies. What we'll be discussing today is not new, is what we are familiar with, but we are bringing it to you as usual in a simplified manner that it will be easy for everyone to comprehend and contribute. So we'll be discussing specialization in human resources, the benefit, and how to identify core strengths. So without wasting our time, we'll be going right into the lesson plan to see what we have in place this evening. So we are going to be focusing on HR specializations. We'll focus on roadmap to HR specializations and benefits of HR specializations. So these are the three areas we're going to be focusing on. And I want you to please contribute as much as possible, because you learn, I learn, we learn together, and we grow together. This is the only way we can do it better. So let's move ahead. Please, if you're on this call, I want to make a roll call first. I want to be sure we are all participating. And I want to be sure we are focusing. Please, first, I want you to raise up your hand or type your name in the chat box. Type your name in the chat box. I want to make a roll call. I want to be sure that we are all on this call. If you're on this call, if you are attentive and listening and you can hear me clearly, kindly put your name in the chat box. So I want to welcome everyone, especially one by one. Raphael Akinjo, thank you for coming. You're welcome. Ade, thank you. Welcome. Okpeyemi, thank you. Samuel Oluwafemi, thank you. Osita Odeze, thank you so much. Emmanuel Oguntibeju, thank you. John, thank you. Oluwaseyi, thank you. Deborah, welcome. Samuel, welcome. Yabo Ogbona, thank you for coming. Oluwatosin, thank you. And Benita, you're welcome. Welcome everyone once again. So we can start. I think I have attentive audience now. So the first question goes to us. Like I said, I'm just the facilitator. It is a combined effort. We learn together. So I want you to, in a simple way, in your own view, in your own point of view, what do you understand by specialization? What is specialization to you? I'll be in the chat box to be reading your comments and definitions. What is specialization? And then if the house is too cold, I'm going to be calling names as my usual way. If the house is too cold, I'll be calling names. So you can't be on this call and look elsewhere because your name will ring bell on the platform. Please, I need your attention, okay? Yeah, Ade said area of interest or core strength. Thank you so much, Ade. That's brave and nice. I need another contribution. Fast, let's do it fast, please. We still have a long way to go today. It's going to be a very detailed session. More contribution, please. What is specialization? Ooh, Grace, thank you so much. Focusing on an aspect of study or a particular field of endeavor. Thank you. Process of becoming an expert. Good. I need more contribution. Concentration on an area of expertise. That's from Okpeyemi. Good. Okay. I believe we all have an insight. Everyone is having an insight, one way or the other, to what we mean by specialization. So specialization speaks about mastery a particular thing. Thank you. Yes, we've all said somewhere. Yeah, process of becoming an expert. Ooh, that's good. Okay. Okay. So let me quickly give you an insight to my own definition of specialization. Specialization is the concentration of your efforts or of efforts in doing a particular thing, a particular task, a particular career, a particular job in order to build a viable career. So when you're specializing on a particular task, on a particular activities, you're doing it to get better. You're doing it to master the skill, and you're doing it because it aligns with your passion. So just like we have specialization in every other field, we also have specialization in human resources. Let's see human resources specialization. So when we are talking of human resources specialization, we are relating with what we already know. We are talking of culture management. We are talking of employee engagement. We are talking of performance management. We are talking of talent management. We are talking of organization development. We are talking of talent acquisition, total reward management, learning and development, people operations, and HRIS, KRP management. So if you look at this topic very well, what I highlighted upward, it is a bit deviating from the traditional human resources function. So when we say a human resources specialization, I am not dwelling with the ways of old. I am trying to align with the now of work. What is tenable now in the market? What are the areas that are in demand? What are we doing now in the human resources field? So these are the 10 trending lines, specializations that are profitable in the market right now. So let's move ahead. Now, when we are talking of culture management, culture, in case you've seen a job opening on culture and you're wondering what does it mean? Well, like you have seen, this is myself and my team members. We are appearing in different clothes. I'm representing Yoruba, Delta. We have Delta, we have Igbo, we have Hausa in this picture. So it's just showing our different ways of life. But because we are together in an organization, our culture from where we are coming from does not define us. We are defined by the common core values of the organization. Despite the fact that we have different backgrounds, despite the fact that we are wearing different attires representing our different cultures, we have a common culture in the organization that is harmonizing everybody together to perform optimally in order to achieve the organizational goal. So when you see culture management, major responsibilities that are strategies or responsibilities that are mostly involved in culture management is company culture and philosophy sustenance. So when we are talking of company culture and philosophy, culture in an organization, whenever you open the website of a particular company, what you see first is the About Us. And when you click on the About Us, you're going to be seeing our core values. That core values translate to what the organizational culture revolves around. So when we are also talking about philosophy, we are talking about the mission, the vision, and the entire core value of the organization. So the 3-in-1 makes the organization philosophy. And then when we are saying company's culture, those are the things, those are the elements of company culture: the vision, the mission, the organization core values, and also the structure in place. And this culture goes ahead to translate to structure, how people communicate, how people relate, and all. And also, we are talking of aligning people, processes, and performance for a common goal. So the only way through which we can harmonize people, processes, and performance for optimal goal in an organization is through culture. And this culture is evident in our employee policies and standard of operational procedures. Like, I work for a consulting company. The recruitment which I manage in a consulting company is different in terms of standard of operational procedures. It's different from in-house recruitment. So that is just for you to know that a culture transcends according to individual organizations. It goes beyond, it's not generic. Culture is not generic. It is peculiar. It is bespoke to every organization. So if you want to specialize on culture management, what I put on the screen are what you should pay attention to: inclusion, diversity, equity, equality, internal process and legal compliance, employee policy adherence, then employee relations. Under these employee relations, we are talking of the disciplinary process and law, which is also embedded in employee policy. Now, again, another specialization in human resources, which is very popular, is employee engagement. When we are talking of employee engagement, we are summarizing it to be care, connect, coach, contribute, and congratulate. You care for people, you connect, you make them connect, you coach them for performance improvements, you contribute, you make them contribute, you make them collaborate across different departments, then you congratulate outstanding performance. So that is where we have performance recognition, performance appraisal, and performance metrics in place. But when you are talking about employee engagement in specific, we are speaking on how to motivate employees to stay on the job, our retention strategies. How do we retain talent? That's what we're talking about: motivation, recognition, and reward of outstanding performance. Wellness is different from well-being. So this is where we are talking about wellness and well-being programs. We are talking of corporate communication, the pattern of communication in the organization, and how well everybody in the organization is informed with the occurrence, changes, vision, mission, and the core values of the organization. It's embedded because these are what translates to whether an employee will be engaged or will be disengaged. So we are also talking about work-life. I didn't put work-life balance there because in the real sense, there's no work-life balance. So we have work-life balance integration, work and life integration embedded in employee engagement. So part of work and life and integration strategies are remote work, We have employers creating a crèche corner in the organization, and they're allowing, during holidays for schools, allowing parents to bring their children to school and all. Then we have employee safety and health. Under employee health, we are talking of the access to medical facilities in case of emergency, our HMO in place, and then the housekeeping policy, the ergonomical fitness of our work tools from the chair to our table, and how compliant the computer, the work tools the company is providing, how compliant it is to World Health Organization standard and Occupational Safety and Health Association globally. So we are talking about that. All these are embedded in employee engagement. If you want to dive into employee engagement, you pay attention to these aspects. Also, we have performance management. When we are talking of performance management, it's just aligning people's activities from talking, from as little as walking, as little as using the restroom, to aligning every activity in the organization to achieve a common goal. And under here, we have goal planning, we have goal metric settings, where we have our KPI, our operational key result, objective key result areas, and then we have our smart metrics set put in place. And also we have management by objective or 360-degree, anyone we want to employ. This is the aspect where we have it. Then we have monitoring, we have review, we have evaluation and grading. So evaluation, after evaluation, we try to classify performance based on like a Likert scale, which I call a Likert scale of 5. That is 1 to 5, where 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest. That is, we have from the poor, 6 rather. We have from poor performance to outstanding performance, which is 5. So that is performance grading. And if you want to pay attention to performance management, if you think you align with it, then this is what you should be paying attention to under HR specialization. Now, when we are talking of talent management, so talent management has been is a new word that has been abused so much in human resources, but there's still distinction that is differentiating talent management to human resources. I've seen most of emerging organizations trying to fit in, try to align, try to be there, try to be reigning, just giving common HR process, common HR activities, HR operations, talent management. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the surface. It goes to look at how well we are attracting talent and developing talent in the whole system. We are making them stay to perform the job and all. So we are speaking of onboarding and exit management. We are talking of career planning for every person in the organization. We are talking of talent identification, talent placement, talent succession planning, then knowledge management within the organization. If you've been looking to divert to talent management, these are the areas you should be paying more attention to. Also, we have please permit me, I want to hide the float. We have organizational development. Organizational development is now the new norms in every organization. Most of the organizations are not just looking for HR again, they are looking for strategists, those who will drive the organization, who will drive people to perform, to sustain the organization in the high competitive market, and also to create a viable future for the organization, and also create immensely, make people contribute greatly to the return on investment. So as such, organization is not just looking for an HR again to manage the people. An HR function is now functioning to manage the organization as a whole. And when we are talking of the organizational development, we are talking of work process interventions. When we're talking of work process interventions, how the work should be done, how in order to cut cost for the organization and all. Then we are talking of technostructural interventions. When we are talking of technostructural interventions, we are talking of how technology is used to drive the communication pattern, to drive the workflow of the organization from the bottom to the topmost and from the top to the bottom. So we are talking of how well ERP or HRIS is in place, or employee management services are in place to drive the structure of the organization. Then we are talking of employee management interventions, and employee management interventions reflect can be people-centered, can be employee-centered. It can also be organizational-centered. So when we're talking of employee management interventions, we are speaking more to employer branding. We are speaking more to value proposition alignment. We are speaking more to how we are intentional about sustaining and making adequate PR, let me say publicity about the company's peculiarity in terms of diversity, inclusion, equity, and equality. So those are the employee management strategies that concern the organization most. Then we are talking of how the HR is able to lead strategic change, especially now that organizations are struggling to meet up with finances because of the economy unprecedented. So we have to, as HR, if you want to pay attention to organizational development, you should be able to anchor strategic changes end to end and make sure that the changes are implemented. And also organizational diagnosis. There can never be organizational changes if as HR, we don't have the research capacity, the inquisitive capacity to drive survey that will ask the right question from employees, that will check the right scenarios and analyze situations to get adequately what we need to the problem of the organization so that we can propose solutions to it. So also we are talking of organizational competency management. Here, organizational competency is different from employee competency. When we're talking about organizational competency, we are aligning the organization's strengths to meet up, to beat competition, to beat competitions and to stay competitive in the market, to make more profit, to attract top talent. We are looking at the structure, we are looking at the people, we are looking at the system as a whole, then we are looking at the environment of the organization, how this translates to build the business competency required for the organization to stay at the edge of the competition in the marketplace. So this is our fair. I call it some of the most commonest HR aspects. That's recruitment. Everybody recruits and all, but not everybody knows how to retain. Everybody attracts, everybody hire, but not everybody actually know how to keep the employees. So this is a very common aspect of the specialized field we have in HR. So we have under this talent acquisition, if you want to, our generic name for talent acquisition is recruitment. So we have preparing, we have sourcing, we have screening, we have selection, we have hiring, we have onboarding. I'm not going to dwell much on that because it's what we are mostly familiar with. Now, we have total reward management. I've seen people mistaking compensation and benefit for total reward management. Compensation and benefit is under total reward. Under total reward, we have payroll competition. So when you are trying to separate functions in your job description, you should be able to state clearly what you mean. You don't just hire somebody to a payroll and expect the person to have the competency of a compensation and benefit specialist. All these roles there are different sub-roles that report to total reward department. They are under total reward. So if you want to know the entirety of what translates to both monetary compensation or non-monetary compensation or learning plan, because learning plan too is capital intensive and learning is planned according to the contribution of each employee to the organizational goal. So as such, why the resources, an aspect of human resources, an aspect of people capital in an organization, why the resources are internally driven, the talents, who are the managers, who are the experts in the organization, might be externally driven. So it is still, the learning plan is under compensation and total reward plan. So when we say compensation and benefits, not just talking to our salary structure where we have our housing allowance, basic pay, and all. So it's encompassing, and it works with competency scale, competency level within an organization. So now, this is my favorite aspect of human resources, because it's actually the heartbeat of an organizational development. Anything you want to do in life, if there's no learning there, it can't grow. The only bridge between now and the future is learning. So that is why I'm using this bulb with colors. The bulb, instead of the bulb to reflect race, is reflecting colors. That is bringing different values at different times. So just for us to know that, oh, every learning translates to beauty in an organization. So as such, when we are talking of learning and development, we are talking of employee competency management. We are talking of learning planning. Under learning planning, we have individual learning plan. We have a performance development plan. We have competency. We have performance development plan. Then we have performance improvement plan. So, and all these are competency driven. Then we have under learning, we have research and development, which is promoting innovations. Also under learning, we have knowledge diffusion, where we try to do knowledge sharing, to also introduce learning, training, mentoring, and coaching to help the knowledge in the organization to circulate. So, and also we under learning, then knowledge diffusion, we have job shadowing. It is still as an aspect of though it is talent management strategy, but it's also an aspect of learning, because after evaluating a certain competency of a certain employee, then we can say, okay, go and job shadow so is superior, so that you can learn better. So it is still under learning and development. So if you are looking to change to learning and development, pay adequate attention to the 5 itemized items on the board, and I'm sure you will excel in it. Now, people operations management. This is another most popular HR function. And then most of us get stuck to this role, that this people operations management is mostly it's the career path mostly ends at intermediate, because the skills required to perform these functions are mostly entry level and intermediate skills. So it doesn't require high competency level. So as such, if I put it as specialization for those who are just venturing into human resources. But I can tell it to you that as you are advancing career-wise, the operation aspect of your job begin to tone down, because you are thinking more strategic. So this is a very good specialization to enter a human resources field. If you want to do human resources, most of the skills, most of the competencies required to perform people operations management are cross-functional skills, which you can get from customer service, front desk administration, admin roles. You can get from operations, maybe production operations, shift operations, and all. So these are mostly transferable skills through which we can leverage on human resources as a career. So if you are on this level, just know that I put it as specialization for you, because for the next 4 years, you are not going to be here again. But if you feel that you are an entry level, you're looking for how to start, this is a good way to join the human resources field. So what do we do here? We do employee record management, we do payroll administration, we do team team and event management. We do general administration. We do recruitment administration. What do I mean by that recruitment administration? Setting up recruitment meetings, setting up interview venues, setting up calendars, and not doing sending feedbacks and receiving feedbacks from candidates. And also, this particular role, people operations manager, is the receiving. Let me say, it's a name that takes away all the operations like printing, documentation, storing and retrieving of data from maybe archives and all those small, petty transactional tasks in human resources. This is the name for it. And there is also not dispensable because every human resources function is achieving a particular aim. If the human resources function is messed up at this level, I can bet it with you, the whole human resources department can be messed up. So as such, we are paying attention to that one. We are calling it a specialization. So I think this is the last specialization that I have. And now this is just evolving, it's just emerging roles. And I'm seeing it around now, based on my interaction with clients and the market. So I'm seeing that most organizations are now requiring HRIS to KRP managers, HRIS to KRP specialists. If you are coming from the tech aspect of life, like you are coming from the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and you feel you cannot cope with the people aspect of human resources, this is another viable career line for you. It's very lucrative. There's talent shortage in this area too, and it is very high in demand now in the market. So we are talking of system implementation and integration, data management, process automation, user support and experience improvement, reporting and analytics, cyber compliance and security, customization and configuration of company websites. So I bring it to you today that this is also beautiful if you have the tech background and you feel, oh, as a software engineer, you want to do more. You can add this to your portfolio. I'm very sure you won't regret it as well. Now, I just concluded the specialization. I just ran through the 10. We have more than 10 because we have some archaic roles that exist, but the ones that exist, I'm not going to mention them. So the ones I just mentioned are the involving ones. They are the ones that are trending. There are 10. I just mentioned 10 now, and I've summarized everything. So when we are saying specialization, how do we go about it? Specialization is very simple to do. It's just for you learning, at least before you can say you want to specialize, you must be an HR generalist first. Some people like us started as a specialist, but we eventually were able to upskill and get everything in human resources. So we have different parts of human resources. I entered as a documentation officer also. That is people operations management. I entered as a documentation officer. Along the line, I moved to recruitment, and now I'm doing talent management. So you can leverage on any line to stabilize, to join the career. That is one beautiful thing about human resources. Irrespective of where you're coming from, you will surely fit in. Even if you're coming from engineering and you feel you've been job hunting for a while and you know how to market, you know how to look for people, you can join as a tech recruiter. So the HR is so big. It's just like the sky. If all of us choose to fly, the sky will take everyone. So, but now, how do you now get the one that is profitable for you? Because the essence of this specialization is you getting the one that will surely align with your personality, your passion for life, and what your philosophy revolves around. So you must know the one that will fit into your life, that you can blend your life with it. Because as a matter of fact, the reason why life cannot be separated from career is because career is a part of life. In fact, from 18 years to, let's say, 60 years of age, for some people, your career takes like 65% of your life. because I'm still at work now. So what I'm doing now is still part of my career. So you can imagine how many hours I spend at home every day. So that is why you have to choose a profitable career that will make you happy, what you have passion for, what will give you joy, what will keep you waking up from your bed every day and keep you going to the work, what you are doing effortlessly and making people happy, what you can easily improve on, what you can easily transfer to your generations. I bet it with you, like I discussed recently with someone, HR is a job that you can give to your child. They can say, okay, I am done. Daughter, son, continue from there. And there is a job that eventually you can have your own side also that you can take anywhere, even if you are leaving the country, you can take it anywhere because it is knowledge-based. It is cognitive knowledge-based. So wherever you are, you can still function. Now, how do you venture into the specialization? That is what we are going to be opening next. And under this session, we're going to be talking about present market analysis. We're going to be talking about future market projection. We're going to be talking about self-evaluation, which is SWOT analysis. Then we're going to be talking about self-identification, and 10, self-placement. After self-placement, 10, we get specialized. So these are the road, and this, I just highlighted the roadmap to specialization here. So present market analysis, future market projection, self-evaluation, self-identification, self-placement. So let's move ahead. Now, why am I putting present market analysis forward? Your service is a product. Your service is a product. If you don't have the market that is calling for it, you don't have anything to sell. You have to identify your service as a product, and product that will give value and that will be demanded for in the market. If there's no market demand for your products, for your service, of course, you may need to upskill or re-strategize. So I try to compare 10 current market demand for human resources specialization. So, and I have them on this board here. Cloud computing. Forgive me for the big language. When we are talking of cloud computing, it's your ability to collaborate in the team without having to sit in the office. And what are the collaborating tools that you have? You have your teleconferencing tools. You have your Google Cloud. You can work on a document without necessarily printing it out, pass it around, get it signed, get it reviewed through Google. You can collaborate and work on an Excel sheet, everybody. So that is cloud computing, working and storing what you're doing in the cloud for others to have access to it and work and modify or review or contribute. So data management and uses. Then we have information management. The essence of information management is the word of work is so volatile now. Very, very volatile. Like any information leakage can be used by the competitors to your organization's disadvantage. So you have to be cautious. Like information management is very key. Then digital marketing skills. What can you do? We are talking of employer value proposition. We are talking of employee engagement. We are talking of talent attraction. We are talking of all this and all that. We are talking of recruitment marketing. How can you get this done without having the digital marketing skills? And when we are talking of digital marketing skills, we are talking of the search engine optimization. We are talking of search engine marketing. We are talking of your Boolean search in recruitment. We are talking of your X-ray search, whatever you call it. So if you don't know the digital marketing skills, if you don't know the marketing skills, the digital marketing, how to look for your prospective employees online, you may not get anything done in human resources today. So if you know you want to specialize, you need to learn digital marketing. And it is very simple to know. Why? You have 1,000,001 free tutorials on YouTube. It's just for you to close your Twitter and Facebook or whatever, or Instagram or Snapchat, whatever you have that is distracting you. Focus on your YouTube, read, and watch videos to skill up on digital marketing. Also, graphics. Graphics is very important. What I am doing now, it is my elementary knowledge of graphics that I'm using. You cannot do it as a child now. You cannot present data and information without knowing how to present it in a compelling way. You have to learn how to tell your stories with graphics, with pictures, with videos, with images. So it is very important you learn this. And also Internet of Things. Like I do tell my friends, Deborah, she's here on this call, and IJ. Before you ask human being, ask Google first. You ask human being, she will give you one perspective. If you ask Google, Google will give you 5 million perspectives within 30 seconds. So know how to use the internet to your own advantage. Know how to use the internet to make your work work. Okay, project management. You need to learn that skill. It's very important because human resources is a project. Being an human resources is almost sequential to, let me say, project manager, because at every point in time, you have one innovation, you have one idea that you want to bet, you want to implement. So you need that project management skill to pull through. 10, employee data privacy. So this is very important. Employee data privacy is very important. For some of us that are still doing recruitment and they'll be sending one very long, let me say, employee and candidate data form. Ask the information that you need and the ones you don't need. You have to review your process, because there's even a government sanction on it now, data protection policy in place, and anybody who is found wanted will be sanctioned heavily by the federal government of Nigeria. So also remote work tools. I've had a lot of challenges with entry-level roles and some senior managerial positions. I hardly struggle with the intermediate. When we want to interview them, they struggle to know HR. They struggle to know where to mute. I've seen a man I was interviewing for a very senior role in HR. It was his wife that was helping him. His wife was practically helping him to mute, unmute, to put up his video, and they were talking. You could hear them clearly that Papa could not operate teleconferencing too. That is not good though. In this era and time, if you want to move forward, if you want to live where people are living, people are not living on net again. People are not living on this universe again. People are now living on the metaverse. So if you are not where people are, they are in the cloud. You may not be able to fit in. You might not be able to divert from your current role to another. So you must go and learn all those remote work tools. Do your assignment. Learn the list of all the remote work tools and try to upskill. Then digital etiquettes. Human resources practitioners. What you do on the social media outlives you. What you say on the social media outlives you. For you to fit in to human resources as a field or switch, mind some things you do on the internet. The internet will keep it for you in future. Employers, most of the multinational companies now are asking for Twitter handles, especially. So especially, I'm emphasizing on Twitter. Whatever you say on Twitter, please be careful. If you have bad things on Twitter, before someone will go and bookmark or save, go and delete it. Because the job that will give you the role to specialize might be stalking you on the internet and you will not know. So it won't be good if your carelessness on the social media alters your benefits or your vision to divert from one field to another in the human resources. Now, future market demand. When we are talking of human resources, it's here. The future is now. The future is now. Within 20 minutes, I got this PowerPoint presentation done with the help of about 7 AI tools. I was able to get it done. 20. I didn't do the PowerPoint presentation. When Mr. Yemi was asking me about 4 hours ago for me to send my presentation, I was just laughing at him. I started doing this presentation past 4, and I was able to finish it about 6 o'clock. So please, I am lazy, like I always say. I have other things I want to do, and I don't have more than 2 hours, and I want to use my energy for something profitable. Whatever the AI can do for me, I go extra length to get it done with AI. So I free my head. Is the PowerPoint not beautiful now? Is it not fine? Are you not getting what I want you to get? It's just for me to spool out my content and describe the types of image I want for each of the content. And I was turning it into first AI gave me results. I was not satisfied. I spooled it out again, put it in one, I tried 7, and I got exactly what I wanted. So, and I did little modification to have the human touch, and the end is history. So learn how to use artificial intelligence. AI is here. You can do your PowerPoint presentation, you can do your exam, you can do anything human resources is doing for you with AI. You can use AI to do your compensation and benefits. You can use AI to do anything. Then be flexible to switch. Don't get stuck. Be like a fluid. Let me say, be like a line of fluid. Be flexible as fluid, like you can fit into any pipe. If it's AI, tech, as you are switching from HRIS, just know that HRIS is just the simpler version of ERP. You know it. And even ChatGPT, that is the commonest now, most of us are still not using that beautiful tool to cover up our laziness, to save our energy for profitable things. I use it as much as sending official emails, just to save my time. I don't have time. I don't have more than 24 hours. And out of that 24 hours, I have a lot of things to do. The future is going there that whoever cannot do this simple thing that I just mentioned will not be able to get a job. Machine learning. We've seen machine learning now, like what's it called? Your Grammarly. You can teach your Grammarly what to give you. You can teach AI ChatGPT version 4. You can teach ChatGPT version 4 what you want to hear. Like this, even this lower version of ChatGPT, once I put some code there and I tell the AI, give me exactly what I want, I will get exactly what I want, and it will be as if I am the one thinking. So people analytics, you should know how everybody's activity in the organization, how every activity in the organization translates to financial implications. People analytics is very key. When we're talking of people analytics, we are talking of our attrition rate, turnover rate, time to hire, time to fill, learning enrollment, learning attendance, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of them under different sections of human resources value chain. So data science, data analytics is different from data science. If you know data science, you can be able to analyze big queries. You can be able to project with Tableau. You can be able to collaborate and translate data to project the future of human resources in your organization. And you can, if you want to speak with the management, data will help you to think through. And you, instead of you stuttering, instead of you wasting your energy to talk, your data will speak for you, and everybody will be convinced, because data don't lie. If data is properly compiled, analyzed, or manipulated, data don't lie. Then the future is not just going, now we are in project management. The future is more advanced than project management. Like my friends in Canada now, so they were sending some job roles to me to help them fill, to recommend candidates for them. And most of the skills I'm seeing in recruitment, talent acquisition, in organizational development, I'm seeing Scrum Master. I'm like, what is Scrum? That was what prompted me to go and read extensively on Scrum. And I discovered that Scrum is just a big word. It's an advanced project management. So please, you too can go and learn about Scrum for the future. Though if it's not popular in Nigeria, one day you might find yourself out of Nigeria and you will need that Scrum techniques, Scrum framework to excel on the job. So let's move ahead. After projecting the future demand in the market, for you to scale through and switch, you have to do a self-evaluation of yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You know what you can do. You know what you cannot do. You know where you are. You know where you want to be. Nobody can teach you. That's why I'm not going to dwell much on this words. How to identify your strength. I'm not going to teach you how to identify your strength. It's an assignment for you. When you get home, sit to the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats of yourself. Then align it to your career. Are you an extrovert? If you're an extrovert, you might be a strategist. You might be fitting. If you're an extrovert, you might be fitting a total reward plan. If you're an extrovert, rather, you might be fitting in maybe employee engagement aspect of HR. If you're an introvert, you might be fitting into under learning and development, but only that if you are an introvert, you might not really flow as a facilitator because you will need in between introvert and extrovert to fit in properly, because as much as you need critical reasoning to be able to design your learning curriculum in L&D, you also need the extrovert aspect a little to be able to facilitate and engage audience during training. So go and do your own SWOT analysis. Know where you are, know where you want to be. So after the SWOT analysis, what you are going to do next, there's no way you will do SWOT. If you do it well, you know your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities. If you need to learn more about SWOT, please use the Google to learn more. You will see a lot of SWOT templates. This is a knowledge sharing session, so it's meant to spark our curiosity to learn more. So you go on Google, get SWOT templates. It will guide you on how to design your own SWOT. So once you design the SWOT, what you are going to gain next is self-realization. Self-realization, you begin to see the light even when it's getting dark. You will now stand on the mountains when others are on the valley. You will see that value in you. If you do your SWOT very well, you will see the value that makes you special among every other human resources practitioners. There's no way you will do that SWOT that you will not see one aspect out of the 10 HR value chains that I've listed above that you cannot undo effortlessly. You will see where to start. And because those HR value chains, though they are specializations, but they are interwoven. Like in organizational development now, you can't do it without knowing talent strategies, without knowing learning and development. You can't do it if you don't know how to engage employees. So everything is interwoven. If you know one aspect, you can use it as a way to enter every other aspect, because one way or the other, it is called a value chain. An HR has a value chain. And now in that value chain, the value chain is a system. It revolves. It's a system. It's a system that revolves. So if you know one, you have the tendency to know one and know one and know one. So that is if you are the type who is curious to learn. Because you can know one and get stuck if you don't push yourself further. So please, when you do that SWOT analysis, what you're going to see is the sun, golden sun, even when it's getting darker. You're going to leverage on the shoulders of the giant to shine, and you're going to be at peace with yourself. So after the self-realization, that ecstasy, don't let it die like that. That joy, don't let it go down. The zeal of getting to know where you belong in human resources, keep the fire burning. Separate yourself from others. self-placement. Remove yourself from others, from other HR functions. Then concentrate. For the fact that you are separating yourself does not mean that you are still not connecting with other HR functions, but you are now paying more attention to the strategic one that want to fetch you money, that want to fetch you reward for your value, that you will sell as a product to the market, to the present and the future market. Then when you self-placements, just like we do on the job, when you place someone on a particular job, what you do is you will help the person upskill, reskill, unlearn, and relearn. So, and by that, you'll be distinct, you'll be different, you'll be a good person, you'll be a subject matter expert as well, also. So, and you flow, you not flow at the valley, but you'll be like a fountain. You'll be like a fountain coming from the top to feed the people at the valley. So that is why it's very good to specialize in human resources at a point. But like I said, the knowledge of everything is the best. Because if you don't have the general knowledge, you will not know where you truly belong. You will not know the one that will help you. You will not know the one that will align with your value, that will align with your passion. You will not know how to identify the values you have. So please, you have to know everything about human resources first before you can specialize. So let's move ahead. And then to close this session, I'm going to be throwing an open question because this is supposed to be part of the content, but I believe by the time we discuss through the human resources specialization and the how to specialize, we'll be able to flow and speak effortlessly to the benefits. So please, I need your help. I need your contribution. I need your insights. What are the benefits of human resources specialization? Please, I need your help. I need your contribution. What are the benefits of HR specialization? I'll be reading your contribution in the chat box. Thank you so much, Abisola. It helps deliver optimally. Yes. Yes. Very good. Possible more pay. Yeah, there will be more pay because these are sought after specializations. Yeah, confidence in one's ability. Moses, you're very correct. Opeyemi, help one's advance in career. Ultimately, it helps, Justina, it helps to be more focused. Yes, honestly, HR is wide. You need to channel your energy on where it matters and where you can get more money. So any other contribution? Any other contribution before we? Yes, HR specialization helps you become focused in one area and position you as a leader there. Yes, yes. Olamileko, HR specialization helps you go and develop one's innate ability. Ultimately. Yes. Something, it helps to be more grounded and be a voice in that particular area. Yes. Yes, it helps to make one to become subject matter expert. Yes. Yes. So thank you so much, everyone. I believe we all know that. And then thank you for your contribution. I learned a lot too from you, from that contribution. So let's move ahead. So today, in order to, we are rounding up now. So we just learned about HR specializations, and we've been able to discuss roadmap to HR specializations. And now I know we know the benefit of HR specialization. So, and then based on this, the content of this knowledge sharing, I believe we can identify the HR specialization that really align with us and also have a roadmap to achieving that dream. And when we say HR specialization, you can have one or more. Like I have a lot of people that knows all, and I know people that can switch. So you can decide to know, because the more you know, the more you know, the more you earn. The more you know, the more you earn. What's just important is know one very well, but you should be able to know more than one. If you are 5 years and above on the job, you should be able to know more than one. To be able to have more than one strength in human resources. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening today. Before I end this session, I have a question too that I still want to ask. Yeah. So I have this cup here. There's water in the cup. I have 2 questions. There's no right or wrong answer. So I'm asking, is it right to say this cup is half emptied, or is it right to say the cup is half filled? Which one will you go with? Is it half filled? Is it half emptied? I'll be reading your contribution in the comment section. Okay, Chidiogo said it's half filled. Damila said it's half filled. Opeyemi half filled. I will go with half empty. Queensley, half filled, half filled, half filled, half filled. Wow, it's half filled. It's half filled. Thank you so much, everyone. That is very good. So everybody is good. Emmanuel, you can't go with both. You have to be on one side, Emmanuel. Choose one. You have to. Okay. Okay. The cup is half. If you are looking at the cup from the negative parts, you will say the cup is half empty. But if you are looking at the cup from the positive part, you will say the cup is half filled. So what am I trying to emphasize? This cup represents your current human resources knowledge. So all what we have discussed today is not to throw you off balance in a bit. It's not intended to throw you off balance or to make you feel less of yourself or to make you feel like you don't know anything. I am telling you today that you are half filled, or you are even almost filled, depending on your level of skills. There's no way you can be doing human resources and not know anything. So you can leverage from the half-filled parts to grow, to top it up and get filled up. This cup is representing your human resources knowledge today. I want you to have a positive view to it. When you're evaluating yourself, open your mind's eyes to see your strengths. Don't just dwell more on your weakness. I can't do this. Celebrate the ones you can do. Celebrate the ones you have. When you celebrate the ones you have, you'll be able to gain more. You will have the motivation to gain more. So on this note, I'm going to be bringing the knowledge sharing session to an end, and I'll be imploring us to ask questions. If you have questions, please, I'll be welcoming questions.
Okay, so we have one question and I have a few contributions to make to the topic in general, but let's take a question that is already in the chat box. So if you have any question, quickly drop it in the chat box. Okay, there's a question already. I don't know if you have seen it. Something around, can an HR specialist be made an HR manager or HR director? Okay, let me redirect. Can an HR specialist be appointed HR manager or director?
Yes. HR specialist can be appointed HR director. It's just upskilling. So from HR specialist, you can see. We just discussed someone in the beginning of this training. Somebody just moved from L&D to becoming head of HR and talent in one organization. Like I said, if you know one, you have the tendency to know all. So is a system. HR is a process, end-to-end HR process. I just try to bring out the value chains in there. And what I call value chains, if you are not in big organizations, you might not be able to specialize. You might be doing everything. And for the fact that you are doing everything does not make you less of human, because you cannot be a HR director if you don't have an overview of all the HR value chains. Like I said, when I started, I said, know most things about all HR value chains, specialize on one or two. So I believe HR specialists should become a director or a head of talent for a global company. Nothing stops you from doing that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I have a few questions and posers for us because I want this session to help us take action. Now, sharing from my experience on the HR mentorship group, I have had the opportunity to sometimes, on behalf of other people or colleagues, to either share an advert or to help collate adverts. And one thing I've realized, and that was actually what gave birth to this topic before I reached out to Opeyemi to come facilitate it, is when we advertise an HR generalist role, this is hypothetical, maybe in 2 days, we will get like 200 CVs. When we advertise a specialist role, in that same span of 2 days, we'll get maybe like 30 CVs. Now, let me shock you. When you now get the 30 CVs, maybe only 5 will fit. Meanwhile, when you get like the 200 CVs for the generalist role, maybe 150 will fit. That tells you something. The first thing I would like to say, like a call, like an appeal. Yes, you can be a generalist. First and foremost, in the entire HR value chain, identify the two that you know the best. Please write this down. I need us to take action so that by the time we meet one-on-one or when you have the opportunity to engage with me, you'll be able to give me a feedback. For example, she listed 10 possible value chains. There are more, but she listed 10 contemporary value chains. If you also paid attention, she even mentioned potential HR value chains. So let me give you an example, maybe HR project management. So you can even mix one or two of the things she has mentioned here today. So I need you to say, okay, I'm a generalist, that's no problem. What are the two? I don't want to say which one. Again, don't forget, Opeyemi said we should be what? Flexible. So if you are listening to me right now, write in the chat box your two favorites or two easiest or the two where you excel the most. Is your own two, not anybody else's two. Okay, is it L&D? Is it? I need you to do that first and foremost. The second thing I need you to do, I also need you to identify your two weakest areas. So you identify your two strongest areas in HR. I need you to identify your two weakest areas. Those two weakest areas will tell you that that cannot be your area of specialization. But of course, you should know it. You should have average or above average knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of those subject matter. Now, the next thing you will do for me, and you will do for us, and you will do for yourself is the two strongest areas. I would now need you to be more intentional. In the next, between now and December, look for a paid training, intensive training on those two. I know that there are probably your two because you know them already, you are very good with them already, but now go for extra training in what you know. Because when you are a specialist, the difference between what you know and what a generalist knows must be cutting edge. You must be at the frontier, the cutting edge of that knowledge. I need you to do that. Between now and December, I need you to do that. This is very, very important to me and to you. Now, another thing I need you to do, and let me challenge you. If 10 people can do it tonight, I'll be happy. The time is just 8:07, so you can still do it tonight, no matter how tired you are. Based on the two strongest areas you have identified as your best, your specialization or your area of knowledge or interest in HR, I need you to do a CV tonight that will focus on those two. So in other words, maybe today you have a CV that shows that you are an HR specialist. You still maintain that CV. However, create another CV that will show you as an L&D specialist, a compound-based specialist, employee relations specialist. I need you tonight because I need everybody who is on this call tonight or anyone who will be watching this on YouTube anytime tonight or going forward, to when there are specialist vacancies, I need you to be able to apply with your specialist CV. I don't want tonight's webinar to just end like, oh, Opeyemi Okolo spoke, how was this webinar? Beautiful. No, I need you to take immediate action steps so that as from tomorrow, as you still apply for generalist role, which is good, there will now be some roles. Then tell your people if there's any compound bank, any L&D, any HR analytics, reach out to me. Then go to your LinkedIn, accentuate the one or two area of specialization. Then intentionally, even though today you are occupying a generalist role, in the area you have identified, the two areas you have identified as your best, as look for achievement. I'm not talking about your past achievement. Between now and December 31st, try and come up with 2, 3, 4 initiatives that you can do in this area of specialization and excel, so that you can also add it to your CV as an accomplishment. This is very key, because you should not just listen to a webinar like this if you don't take action. It's almost like you are listening to the news. Okay, I need us to take action. I appreciate everyone who, for example, have already dropped their strengths in the chat box and their weaknesses. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, I have a few more things to say along this subject matter, and I like the fact that our facilitator dwelt on it. I just did a little research, okay, and this is data is not based on Nigeria. Generally speaking, the area of specialization that tends, I'm choosing my words carefully, to pay the most about now, emphasis about now, it can change tomorrow, is HR technology specialist. Generally, globally, it pays between $60,000 to $100,000. That's a range. So, you know, some people can operate at the lower end or at the upper end. Generally, the HR domain that pays the most right now, about now, is HR technology specialist. So if you have flair, you may want to expand more in that area. The next area that pays the most about now, I'm talking about the specialist areas, is the compensation and benefit specialist or total reward specialist. It's funny enough, it pays a range of $50,000 to $90,000. Now, you will notice one thing, the lower end of compensation and benefit specialist is lower than the lower end of the technology specialist. The upper end, which is $90,000, is just $10,000 lower than the HR technology, which means don't just say, oh, technology pays more, you will go there. If you will excel in comp and ben, become a superstar there and go for the upper band of the pay. The third ranking, okay, in the general HR domain is talent acquisition specialist. And it ranges from what? $50,000 to $80,000, or it can be higher based on experience. The fourth one is training and development specialist. The range is between $45,000 and what? $80,000. You can see that range. Then fifth is employee relations specialist. The range is also from $50,000 to $80,000. And we have some other areas that the pay, you know, is less. Generally speaking, as an economist, also as an HR professional, you know that scarcity confers value, and also confers value. And when things are new and emerging, not many people will have the skill, competence, and insight, and therefore it will be very valuable, especially in the short run. As more people catch up with you, the value it commands in the market may drop. I would like to wrap up with this before we take any general question or comment or contributions to this matter. We must absolutely end in the next 12 minutes. Now, you will see that different domain in HR has different capabilities and competencies. And I like the fact that our facilitator tonight spoke to it. If you're an introvert, there are areas in HR that you will, thrive. And if you are an extrovert, there are also areas where you will thrive. But certain roles, you need to have certain skills at almost advanced level, or at not just basic or intermediate, at proficient level. So for example, for recruitment and talent acquisition, you will need communication skills, especially when you are negotiating with candidates. You also need to be able to build rapport with your candidate. Okay, you must be able to have a keen eye to go through CVs, profiles, LinkedIn, and the other things. For example, in employee relations and conflict resolution, you must have exceptional listening skills, patience, calm demeanor. You must be able to also understand issues from different perspectives and also to be able to what? Mediate. All right. For compensation and benefit, for example, your appreciation for calculation, mathematics must be high. Okay, if you struggle with maths, you struggle with numbers, you may struggle with compound B. And that is why previously, in many organizations, it used to be the accounting department that used to handle payroll before HR started taking it back. Same for performance management. A lot of it has to do with what? Analytics and appreciation for numbers. But let me round this up, okay? And I will round up with this. Some of you who have met me one-on-one in one or two forums, you've had me share this insight. I make bold to say maths and English, they're actually the same thing. I want everybody on this call tonight who will be watching this session also on YouTube. You don't say I don't like maths. I'll say it again. And quote, this is my own insight. I didn't read it or learn it anywhere. Maths and English, they are literally the same thing. And it could be Yoruba and maths. It could be French and maths. Mathematics is just expressing language in numbers. In primary school, all the maths you need to know, they taught us. And they taught us in English. Let me give you an example. You will hear collect like terms. If you go to your kitchen today or your wardrobe today, your cutlery, the spoons are together. The fork, they are together. Okay? The teacup are together. That is mathematics. That is what? Collect like terms. So, did you just see here that maths and English are the same? Same logic. If you're able to collect like terms, that is what makes you to become what? A specialist. All the areas of HR that you have excelled or that you can excel, have it out. You now become what? A specialist. Okay. At this point, if you would like to ask any question or you like to quickly share your own thoughts or comments with respect to subject matter about HR generalist and HR specialist, please do so. Let me close by also saying this. It's also okay if even after tonight's lecture session, you are still confused. Please don't be in a hurry. When some of us also started in HR, it's not like we are determined that this is the one or this is that one. We were just applying ourselves, learning, providing support, taking instructions from our line manager and putting in our best. Okay. Absolutely. At the end of the day, over time, either your friends, professional colleagues, some things will come easier to you than some other things. Okay. Again, don't forget that the entire HR value chain is interwoven, is intertwined. So the better you are on one, by the time you go back to another aspect of the value chain, suddenly you see that your conversation. So if you do an extensive performance management training, suddenly you will see that you will improve in recruitment because the DNA back end is interlocked. All right. So if you have any contributions, questions, okay, I see Deborah. Deborah, please ask your question or share your contributions, please.
Okay, so I want to say a big thank you to Oyemi. She's my senior colleague. She's not just a colleague, but my senior colleague. And she has been a great push to my career till this time. So I acknowledge her. She's such a great motivator. And I've learned a lot from this session. Plus, Mr. Yemi, you gave it one, I don't know. Honestly. I was just laughing when you were telling me about the maths. So for me, math is difficult for me, so I was just laughing. Okay. So I wanted to say something about many people because right now, I would say I'm a specialist when it comes to recruitment and or talent management and L&D. And in talent management, when I review CVs, I begin to see people want to touch base. They want to touch base with every aspect of HR. So when I want to recruit HR people. So, but I wanted to say that is it fine, or should I say that is it okay for people to touch base in all aspects, like for example, and to understand the aspects 100%, like for example, touching base with L&D for like 2 to 3 years, then leave L&D and then move to Comp and Ben for like 3 years. Of course, I would assume that 3 years is enough to say that one is a specialist in that aspect. Is my assumption correct? So can I do that?
Yes, that's very good. Yeah, for you to be, because as HR, we are like internal consultant for our organization. So how can we consult well? How can we serve the advisory role? If you can, for us to have the advisory competency, we need to know everything about the HR value chain. The reason why we are specializing mostly, the reason why specialization comes to play mostly is because of the talent of the market now. The market has really divided that generic HR roles no longer fit in. And I can tell you categorically that most of the people who feel that they've been doing a generic HR can actually fit into some roles. They just need a self-realization. They need to go through self-discovery journey. So if you know everything about human resources end to end, from attraction to exit management, I can bet it with you, it's the best. It is the best, but you cannot leverage on your specialty. You can leverage on your specialty to establish a side hustle business, a viable business. And you can also leverage on your specialty if you leave Nigeria, because outside the country, you hardly see generalists. So the reason why we are, I really appreciate Mr. Yemi for drifting towards the global perspective. HR roles are beginning to divide now. You can see that most companies will still have HR director, HR admin, and we still have talent and organizational development manager. So that is just for us to know that the role is splitting. Everybody is looking for how to do better now. So we are now acknowledging special strategic roles in human resources. So if you have all the initial knowledge and everything, it's good for you. It's very good for you. You can do everything. Please learn it. Learn everything in human resources, if possible. Thank you. Any other question, please?
Any other question or contributions, please? Okay. Let's also just check in the chat to ensure that there is no question unanswered. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us take action based on what we have learned tonight. That will be the...
I have a very vital question here.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody is asking a very important question, but let me just scroll up. Said, how can a HR professional who is just growing a career learn what the line manager is not willing to teach? The people under is not willing to teach the people under him, but with practice and aspects, can I learn fast than theory? But with practice and aspect, I can learn fast than theory. Okay. Your line manager, your HR manager is not going to sit you down and teach you everything. You observe. That's what job shadowing. When I was learning, we always acknowledge my senior colleague, Olawale Odunlami. He's now the talent acquisition director for Tech Experts Africa. So I will always acknowledge him. If he asks me to do something, I will do it immediately, but I will go and check very well. Okay, how did he get it done? How did he get it done? I'll think. When I was doing documentation, HR documentation and verification of background checks, that was when I learned everything I need to learn about employee relations, employee engagement, and all. That was when I learned HMO. That was when I learned all those biodata that we feel in nature. That was when I was curious to know why they were asking, or what's your blood type? What's your this? That was when I knew that all these informations are available to craft a bespoke wellness and well-being programs for human resources. So it is just, you might think your line manager is not teaching you anything, but there's no way he can do everything on our own or on his own. He's giving you he's delegating some roles to you. It's just for you to open your mind's eyes and learn from it. And if you think you are not learning well, volunteer for HR groups. Like where I'm currently, I volunteer to learn most of the things I've learned in HR. I volunteer for projects, I volunteer for mentoring, I volunteer for anything, everything. HR, provided I have the luxury of time, I'll volunteer. So if you're not doing it internally, volunteer. Provided it's not conflicting with your business, with the business of your organization, volunteer. You learn outside. Your learning, I shared something on LinkedIn recently. Your learning, your career development is 70, 20, 10. 70 depends on your job description, your job roles, and your eagerness to learn everything on the job, in the job role. And then the 20 is your collaboration with professional networks, either internally or externally. Then the 10 is what we call external learning and paid learning. So leverage on the people in the department. And I'm telling you, there's no way. It's your manner of approach. There's no way you will ask your line manager, assuming she has given you a task to do and you don't know how to do this, please, I don't know how to do this. She will put you through. And line managers on this call, I always say, to get yourself way out, please shun team collaboration and technology. But if you really want to stay fresh on the job, you are facing the fire and you are blooming, you are blooming, you are glowing like a gold. Empower your team members. Empower them to be independent of you. You are a failure as a line manager if everybody is still knocking your office for direction. If the traffic is still on you, everybody want to confirm something from you before they can get it right. You are a failure as a manager. Because your leadership, your growth is a direct translation of how you are developing the people under you. Empower them to do what they need to do so that you can have rest of mind. They will even help you with your reports and all, and everything will be fine with you. But please, if your line manager is not sharing with you, and if you don't have any job yet, please be calm. Know how to manage your manager, to learn field that you can learn, volunteer, and also every job that is assigned to you, look beyond the job. Try to translate the job. Learn on the job. Learn why. Why am I doing this? Why should I do it? What is the importance? What are the benefits? Please ask questions. Thank you.
The final question will be taken tonight from Somi. Very good question here. In a situation where the HR department is designed for the team members to be a generalist, in other words, each team member acts as a business partner to each subsidiary within the group. However, some HR functions, for example, talent management, is not given priority and attention. How do we go about this?
There's no organization that does not give talent management priority. It's just that they don't know how to go about it. Like for instance, where I've been working, I've not seen talent management written on the wall. But those things have highlighted from talent management. Most of the HR metrics, most of them were from personal encounter. And when I read globally, and that was when I got to know that, oh, I was actually doing this. If your organization is calling your department training and development, and you are training people, you should know that training is an aspect of L&D. You are training some people to get promotion. You should know that what you are doing is talent management. If you are training some people to get promotion, what you are doing is competency development. And before you can train those people to get promotion as an L&D, I'm just for an instance, you must have known where they are You must have known their weakness, their strengths and weaknesses from the line managers. And that is what you are leveraging on to prescribe a bespoke training plan. So I don't believe your organization will write it on the word that, oh, we are doing talent management. You are the one that will look at your job roles. It's in your job roles. All these new fancy roles, they are from the generic. I said it earlier. They are from generic HR functions. Just try to align what you are currently doing to it. And then, if your organization, career management, career planning, if your organization does not do career planning, when people leave the organization, you can recommend that, oh, can we have this role advertised internally? Should we want to see anybody who want to move across departments? So it's as simple as internal recruitment advertisements. They are talent management process, because somebody who is moving as an admin from project department and is now moving to general admin is not the same thing. The person is leveraging on cross-functional skills to move to another department. And for the fact that that person is interviewing for another department and granted the role, that is career planning for that person, because from that HR admin, the person can go to become HR. So it's not until when it's written somewhere that, oh, talent management is core. But it begins from when someone resigned on the higher role. So instead of bringing in another person, you as the HR VP, you're supposed to be giving them advice on the aspect of the business. In that session that you are managing, if someone resigns, you can say, oh, okay, from supply chain division, for an instance, a demand planner resigned. Okay, you can replace a demand planner with a data entry, warehouse data entry officer. You can, because it's prerequisite. Data and demand planning, data entry, warehouse data entry is prerequisite to data demand planning. And then in a IT department, somebody who is doing IT administration is prerequisite to IT support. It is when we know how these roles translate to one another, we'll be able to help the people we are managing to see themselves. We can also help them too to see themselves. When they see themselves, they will know that they can fit into that role. You coach them and you make them feel the role. It saves time and energy. It saves the company cost, and also it promotes the employee value proposition, because everybody will be happy that, oh, there's career plan here. What do we call career growth? When there are rooms to move from one department to another, rooms to move ahead. If there's a vacancy, you should first look inward before getting it filled. If an officer role is open, automatically you have either graduate trainees or interns that can fill those roles. If it's a big organization, like you have said, now because I'm having the inside that the organization will be big. So let's work on ourselves first. When we work on ourselves, we'll be able to see others, then we'll be able to help others do the right thing. And I don't believe we have any organization that is not doing at least a stint of talent management that we can leverage on to grow.
Thank you so much. It is your job, my colleague, highly esteemed colleague, to ensure that you introduce that aspect of HR that may be dormant or that may be done at a minimal level in your organization. Let me say this clearly. It is the things that will make you succeed. Not all of them will be assigned to you. Some, you must take it upon yourself and deliver. I'll say it again. It is that will get you ahead in your HR career. Not everything will be assigned to you by your line manager or your management. Some, you will take it upon yourself by yourself and do it. The first time I did HR analytics in any organization, nobody gave me the work. It was painful to get data. I worked collaboratively, got data, put the report together, then unsolicited, I sent it to the managing director. Of course, it now became a routine request subsequently. If I said nobody's paying attention to HR analytics in this organization. So, like Okpayemi has said, link roles together. Don't even wait for when people resign. It may be too late. Focus on what? Succession planning in your subsidiary. Come up with a draft succession planning, emphasis on draft. Send it to the management of the subsidiary or the group to say, look at this draft succession plan. What do you guys think? People can now say, we agree, we don't agree. You now say, okay, let's work together and rework the succession planning plan schedule and have something more robust and something more generally acceptable. Then things like job rotation, you begin to what? Initiate it. When somebody goes on maternity for 3 months, it's a good opportunity. When people go on leave, when you are planning leave for the year, you are not only planning leave for the year, you are also planning the reliever program with it. So that people now must go on leave, so that people can relieve them and have exposure. Are we together? So please, it doesn't matter whether we're in a PLC, a one-man business, we must exert ourselves. That is one of the hallmarks of a professional. It's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be easy. I also like to say this as we wrap up, especially those of us who are maybe managers or leaders, as much as possible, try and help your HR team members rotate. Maybe every 6 months or 1 year, rotate them. I know we like people because we don't want mistake. We want everybody to be in their comfort zone. When you rotate to another role, you will still provide some support for the person that took over from you. You are not going to hands off. And you can do some rotations that are like 60-40. 60% in recruitment, 40% in employee engagement. So that it won't be a complete shift. So that it won't be too sudden and it won't expose the department or the organization to error. We must not sacrifice learning and experimentation on the altar, on the premise of our colleagues' growth. Then you too, as a professional, if they don't give you, take it. If they don't give you, take it. It's not all your career moves that must be the one that is paying 50K more, 100K more. You can take a lateral promotion, no increase in salary, but exposure to a new line of HR. It can also be outside of the organization. You can also take a pay cut if you are going in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I must sincerely thank Opeyemi Nwakolo, who has done excellently well tonight. She's still in the office. She stayed behind just to ensure that she delivers excellently on this topic. I also like to thank the over 60, 70 people who joined this session live, and everyone will be watching this later on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have learned anything tonight, please use it and advance your career. With this viewpoint of ours, I hope we've been able to convince you that even if you're a generalist, you must specialize in one thing. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. Good night. Good night, everyone.